and we know this is what we're meant to do. So we wake up, put our feet on the floor, go and conquer the day like a warrior, like warriors. Cause that's what a trap does. We got your back so you can relax and focus on all the important stuff, like getting your business done. This is our tribe. We look out for each other. That's right, that's right. This is our tribe. We help each other grow in business and life. That's right, that's right. No need to panic anymore. We got lots of support and an army of warriors by our side. We fight the good fight when we unite. We fight the good fight when we unite. Cause that's what a tribe does. We got your back so you can relax and focus on all the important stuff, like getting your business done. This is our tribe. We look out for each other. That's right, that's right. This is our tribe. We help each other grow in.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sondra, and I am the host of the Coffee Shop Show, and I am super excited about today's topic. We're going to continue going down the road of writing your business plan. Like we've said for the last 2 weeks, the business plan has many, many components to it, depending on your purpose, your industry, and so on and so forth. So we are just covering some very basic topics that can be included in your business plan to give you some jumping off points. So we are definitely coming from each other's perspectives. And I'm super, super excited today because we are talking about financials. And since this is not mine or Peter's strong suit, it's not her, we wanted to bring in the expert. And yes, it is amazing, Susan, who does all the behind the scenes. And we convinced her to come and talk to us. How are you today, Susan?
I'm doing well, Sondra. Thank you for the opportunity to chat to you guys. It's one of my favorite topics, forecasting. So, yeah, let's get this done.
Yep, let's go. Go ahead, take it over.
Can I share? Can I share quickly?
Yeah, it should let you share.
Let me just get it right here.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Tech is great.
Yeah.
And it works. There you go. There you go.
All right.
Introduction. Awesome. Forecasting.
Introduction.
Take it away, Susan.
All right. So it's important whether you're launching a new venture or growing an existing one, the ability to predict your financial future is essential. Forecasting helps you anticipate revenue, manage expenses, and seize growth opportunities. More importantly, it gives you confidence in your decisions. Forecasting allows you to plan ahead, ensuring you have enough cash flow to cover expenses and invest in growth. Think of it as your business GPS, guiding you toward informed decisions rather than reacting to surprises. With accurate projections, you can set goals, attract investors, and build a sustainable business. There are three main components to any financial forecast: your revenue, your expenses, and your profit. Let's look at your revenue estimation. Start by analyzing your past sales data if it is available. If not, researching industry trends is if you're a new business. Consider factors like seasonality, customer demand, and pricing strategies. Use realistic assumptions based on market conditions. The second one is expense forecasting. Break your expenses into fixed or variable costs. Your fixed costs would be something like rent, salaries, insurance, and your variable costs would be supplies, marketing, or utilities. Be thorough. Overlooking even small expenses can lead to inaccurate projections, which is something that you would not want. Factor in inflation and potential cost increases. The third one would be profit calculation. Your profit is what remains after expenses are deducted from revenue. Use your profit margins to assess business viability. Will your pricing and sales volume be enough to sustain growth? The interesting part is always your tools. Thankfully, you don't have to do all of this manually. There are several tools and techniques to simplify forecasting. Yes, Peter, you don't have to do it manually. So what's nice is you can use spreadsheets like Excel and Google Sheets, which is great for creating simple projections with formulas. You've got accounting software like QuickBooks and Xero, which are tools that automate financial tracking and forecasting. With industry benchmarks, you can compare your numbers to similar businesses to gauge accuracy. And then scenario planning creates multiple forecasts. You get optimistic, realistic, and worst-case scenarios to prepare your uncertainties. Forecasting isn't a one-time activity. Your business is constantly changing, and so should your projections. Here's how to keep them relevant. Review your forecast regularly, and this is Sondra's favorite. Monthly or quarterly is ideal. Compare actual performances with projections to spot trends and adjust accordingly. Stay informed about market shifts and customer behaviors that could impact your business. Then, most importantly, avoid some of the following points that I'm going to show you out. Even the best forecast can go wrong if you're not careful. Avoid being overly optimistic. Use your realistic numbers, not wishful thinking. Things like ignoring expenses, small costs add up. Rather track everything. Failing to update forecasts should be adjusted as new data becomes available. I said it earlier as well. And not considering external factors, economic shifts, competitor actions, and industry trends can impact your business. Forecasting is a powerful tool that empowers business owners to make smart decisions, secure funding, and grow successfully. But by estimating revenue, managing expenses, and using the right tools, you can gain control over your financial future. And that's a fast presentation from my side. Over to you,
Amazing
Sondra.
job. Yeah, amazing job. I love that. I love that, Susan. I know a lot of people get scared of numbers because, it's a lot. And, you know, I've been reading a new book about numbers and how you look at numbers and stuff. And it's not my favorite thing. I'll be honest. Numbers are not my favorite thing. I just want to go help the people and do the things. And that's why I hire experts like Miss Susan to do the do the numbers. But as a business owner, it's still important. Even if you hire people or get the software, it's still important that you review your numbers. And I've learned that the hard way. Let's not repeat Sondra mistakes. That you're no matter if you hire it out or whatever, if you hire a team, it's still as a business owner, it is your job to know your numbers. I guess that's the point I'm making. So it's super, super important. Good evening, Peter. It's really weird for you to go like third.
This is great. I love it. I absolutely love it. I'd go fourth if I could. First of all, brilliant presentation. Some of the things that were highlighted to me are things that I think are issues in most spaces, because these are things that people, because they're scared of them, don't tend to not do. It becomes like a little monster that just keeps nagging at them until they actually do it. But here's one of the things that you said, which I think is probably the most important, is being informed. I think even if you get somebody else to do your numbers, which is generally the case with entrepreneurs, if you're not good with numbers, get somebody else to do it. But just because somebody else is doing it doesn't mean that you can't be informed. The person that is doing it needs to return it to you in such a way that you can then translate that into being able to make informed decisions, because the only way to actually make informed decisions is to be informed. Just because somebody else is handling it doesn't mean you don't have to think about it. So you still have to know what's going on with your numbers. You still have to know, you know, if things are changing in your business, what becomes flexible, how it changes, how it impacts everything. You still need to know this. But the task of doing the numbers is something that I personally would not be able to do for myself. I'm not a numbers person. I am a backwards person. So numbers make zero sense. What does make sense is finding somebody that does do numbers. And when you're finding that person, make sure you find a person that, because you get accountants and you get bookkeepers, however, find somebody that can understand who you are and translate it for you in a way that you need to see it so that you can be informed to make decisions on your business. I think that's very, very, very important. Because I mean, you could grab any accountant and they can go, oh, here's the numbers. Great. I'm just as confused as what I was before. So find somebody that understands you, understands your business, understands how you need the numbers to be presented. Maybe you want it in picture form. Maybe you want a comic book. Maybe you want it in a spreadsheet. Maybe you want it done in a way that the spreadsheet makes sense. But find somebody that can translate. I think that's important.
I totally agree, Peter, because numbers are numbers. And if you just look at numbers, then you're like, I don't know what that means. I don't know where anything goes, how it comes out, how it comes in, which is actually why people get bankrupt and so on and so forth. So a quick question to you, Susan, when you're starting out, like what tips, first off, what tools should you use like at the very beginning and what should you be tracking exactly?
Like I said, there's a couple of tools that you can use, but the ones that I find to be most useful is Excel. There's a couple of great templates that you get online that does budgeting and cash flow, which is probably two of the most important things that a business can use. And then you get QuickBooks. I'm making use of QuickBooks for my my bank statements and so, and QuickBooks and the Excel goes together. So if you've got your bank statement, you've got your QuickBooks, you've got your Excel, you compare the three with each other, and then you can do your forecasting with your past numbers that you've got, and you can work towards forecasting for the future. So I would most certainly say Excel is probably the most useful tool that you can have when you're a business. It's like I said, the templates that you get, they have formulas that helps you. You don't even have to think out your formulas and thumb suck or anything. They there. You just need to add the numbers, which is quite nice. I'm giving away some of my trade secrets now because I use some of those templates just to make my job easier. But it's one of the most important tools that you can make use of is Excel. In a business, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that, Susan. Um, yeah, there is so many things out there, so make sure you understand what you get. So don't just get, oh, okay, Susan told me to go to Excel template and I have a template and I don't know what the heck to do with it. So you got to definitely get something that you know how to work or learn how to work or hire somebody to work it for you. I literally just went to QuickBooks this year. I've used free programs before that and I've got to that level of my bookkeeper's like, we need something a little more robust because I have four streams of income now. So she's just like, yeah, I can't do this in the free stuff anymore. You gotta upgrade you. You need to go pay for QuickBooks, which is fine. I'm fine with that. But yeah, I did free. One of them is called Wave, and one of my CRMs had a really crappy one, but it had somewhat of a bookkeeping in it. So definitely you can invest, but don't invest until you figure out what you need it for. So, there's a lot of tools out there you can use instead for sure. For sure. Mr. L, good evening, sir. Come on in.
Good evening, everyone. Susan, lovely to see you again on the screens. We just see in the background all the great work that you do. Um, I just want to start this with saying forecasting. It's like your domestic budgeting. You need to know your income, you need to know your expenses, and you need to know what can I save if there's anything that you can save. So for me, those are the three major points in any business, in any household. You need to know what income are you going to get and where are you going to get the income from. Okay, so in business, it would then be, where's my income from? It's from sales. Expenses, what do I have to pay for? Which is very important. What do I have to pay for? And will what I pay for be more than what I'm getting in? If the difference is negative, then you know you're losing out. Then you know you're not making any profit. And then the profit, which can be either positive or negative, how are you going to use that? So for me, the importance of forecasting is, and I think Susan, you mentioned this, it's for you to be able to make an informed decision about your business, your strategies. What do I need to do so that I can grow my business? If you do forecasting, you will know, where do I need to place my funds? How can I allocate all my resources so that I know my business will be profitable, so that I can plan better financially. And what is going to help is, and I think you mentioned this as well, to analyze your market, your competitors, what is there, what comes in, what goes out, who's doing what. So that, I think we spoke about this last week or 2 weeks ago, the market analysis, market or marketing analysis, who is doing what, so that I know I can grow my business that way. Will my business operate efficiently if I do this or that? So you need to know all the, how do I put it? All the different aspects of your business, especially where you are going to get your finances from, and how you're going to spend your money so that you can make profit, because any business is out there to make a profit. So yeah, that's just my little input. And this is Lesetja Mokou from Litmok, your business development agents.
I love that. I love that. Yes, definitely. You have to know where your numbers are coming from, for sure. And forecasting and budgeting, I see them a tad different, or at least I see them as tad different. Forecasting, I feel, is more of a long-term projection, where budgeting is more of, this is what I'm going to do this year, and this is exactly what I'm going to do. Is that right, Susan, or am I like way off basis? What is the difference between budgeting and forecasting, or are they the same? Am I just really wrong?
They're basically the same. It's just budgeting is your future, is what you're planning for your future, and that's exactly what forecasting is as well. So you look at your cash flow, which is projections of what happened in the past, and then your budgeting is for your future, using your cash flow projections for your future planning. And forecasting is exactly just that. You can do, when you do your forecasting, you can do it monthly, you can do it quarterly, you can do it 6 monthly, or you can even do it yearly. It depends on what exact purpose you want it to use it. So yeah, to me it's basically the same thing.
Okay. All right. And see, I was trying to make it fancy. So, awesome, awesome. So yeah, I think that, when we use interchangeable words, sometimes it can get very confusing. I know personally, like when I looked at business, I'm like, what the heck is word forecasting? Like I can't forecast anything. So good to know, good to know. Peter, come on in the conversation.
Yeah, I think what I want to do is paint a little bit of a picture. So you wake up in the morning, you put on your best suit, you're heading into a very important meeting. Decisions need to be made. You look the part, you've got the watch, the shoes are polished. You're meeting with some high-profile people, and they ask you a very simple question: can we afford to do this? And you don't know. Here you are, you're an entrepreneur, you're supposed to be at the peak of your performance, you're supposed to be on your tippy toes, you're supposed to be able to make decisions like this, you're supposed to be able to go, yes, we can do this based on the forecasting, we have the numbers, we know what we're buying this in for, we know what we can afford, we know what quantity we can buy based on the projections, we know that if we buy at this particular price, we can sell at this particular price. That market analysis paralysis, where these are things you need to know. If you do not know, then the only person you're going to make look like an idiot is yourself. The last thing that you want to do is walk into an important meeting and not know what decision-making power you have. But if you know your numbers, you know your forecasting or your projections, whatever you want to call it, you understand what you can afford to do, what you can't afford to do. You understand what making an informed decision. Can we do this? No. If we do this, we run the risk because our finances look like this. And if we do this, we're going to be 3 months in the hole. Okay, can we make a plan to cover this? If we do that, we can do it, maybe stretch it over 3 or 4 months because our finances can actually do that. So making these decisions can actually be not life-saving, but business saving. Because if you start making stupid decisions based on, oh yeah, I'm gonna suck my thumb and this sounds really exciting, let's just do it. And you get halfway through it and realize that your cash flow cannot handle it. What have you done to your business? And where are you going to go from there? How do you backtrack from situations like that? And how do you not look like an idiot in front of the high profile people that you've made all these big promises to? Yes, we can do this. Yes, I look the part. Yes, I've got the watch. I've got the snazzy shoes. I look the part, but I'm an absolute idiot because I said yes, but the answer was actually no, or I needed more time, or so. And I think that there's very many different aspects. The finances are just one aspect. If we would look at the market research and we take all the topics that we've spoken about and we add them all together, finances included, and if you are informed on each of those spaces, it gives you the ability to pull together what can I do? What decision can I make? Where can we go? What can we do? So at the end of the day, let's not go out there and look the part, but be idiots. I think the trick is to have your finger on the pulse of what's going on within each topic, and then have the ability to make decisions when the timing is right. The right meeting, the right decision leads to great results because you're informed. And I think, to me, I'm going to go back to being informed is one of the most powerful things as an entrepreneur, because if you're not, you just make bad choices. They may seem good, but it's not based on any information. So rather make informed, good decisions. Please.
Well, and I think that's important, and that's why banks and investors and grant people want to see a business plan, is because they want to know that you're informed and that you know how your business runs. And if you don't know how your business runs, why would they give you money? Like, why are they going to invest in you or give you the grant or the loan or whatever? They want a sound investment. They want to know that you know what the heck you're doing and that you're going to spend their money wisely, based on what you have or haven't done. So that's why a lot of investors, banks, And grant people want a business plan. That's the key. They want to know. They want a written document saying, I know what the heck I'm doing. I know how to spend this money appropriately. It's still risk. There's always a risk. There's risk in business, period. But they want to lower that risk by they've made sound decisions. They've written this up. Could they have copied and pasted it? Yeah, but it is what it is in today's age. But definitely want to do that. So, Mr. L, come on in.
All right. Thanks, Sondra. I just wanted to reiterate a point that Peter made earlier. We are not all accountants. We are not, and we are all wired differently. So, for you to be able to do your financials, get somebody that knows exactly what to do. They know exactly what they are doing. But, and this is another point that he mentioned, be involved. Know exactly what they are doing. Because if they just punch up numbers and say to you, that's your forecasting, you cannot explain it to anyone. That is not going to help you with anything. So get a specialist or an expert, but be involved. Know exactly what they are doing and how they are doing it, so that you are able to apply that knowledge elsewhere. Otherwise, you'll be lost. Otherwise, you'll be what Peter referred to as an idiot earlier. You just have to know, you know. So yeah, that's just what I wanted to reiterate.
Awesome. I love that, Mr. L. Peter, come on in.
I don't know. Who of you actually watch Shark Tank? Everybody knows what Shark Tank is, or at least they've seen an episode. Or can you imagine going into Shark Tank and going, "This is my amazing product. It does this. It's going to be the next biggest thing." And they go, "Okay, right. So, what business did you do last year?" I don't know. What did you sell the product for? I don't know. What did you buy it for? What was your profit on this product over the last 6 months? They're not going to invest. Your product can be the best product on the face of the planet, but being an entrepreneur is multifaceted. It's not about just having a great product. It's about understanding the market that your product is in, understanding the financials behind how you make a profit with that product. And all these things come to play. I think I would be the first person in history to actually invite Susan to come with me to my Shark Tank. So when I go, "Here's my amazing product," and they go, "What's the numbers?" I'm like, "Susan, what's my numbers?" Because I'm not a numbers person, but you have to know. You have to know. Or you have to have somebody with you that knows exactly, and they can keep you at that point of being updated all the time. They're doing your books, they're doing your numbers, they're keeping you informed. You're informed, you can make decisions. Shark Tank success. But do not step into a Shark Tank and go, "Oh, I don't know. Oh, I just don't know." Because then they instantly will lose all your credibility. It's just gone. Split seconds, gone. You don't know? How can we invest? We can't, because if you don't know, then we don't know. So we can't invest. So if you imagine that you are at certain points in time preparing yourself for Shark Tank, that's what doing your numbers is all about. That's what understanding your market is all about. Pretend you're just preparing yourself for Shark Tank. They ask a question. You need an answer. You can't just go, "Oh, I don't know. I'll get back to you on that." Or if you can't tell me who's going to, no, they won't invest. So just pretend you're preparing yourself for Shark Tank, and you're going to go in there and you're going to blow their socks off. They're going to ask you questions. You're going to have all the answers because you're informed. If you want to be the part, look the part, but don't only look the part, know what you're talking about. And that's very important.
I love that, Peter. Right. And you never know when You could be in a room, a meeting or a network where somebody might want to invest in you and you don't know what the heck. And I've been caught in that and be like, yeah, okay, can I get back with you? And it discredits you, literally discredits you right there and then. You don't know your numbers, you don't know what you need, you don't know who you need, how much you need. Okay, sure, we'll circle back around with you. Not really. It's next. Like, let me go see somebody that do it. So it is really important. Mr. Hendrick, I always love getting your perspective because I am sure it is a different world having a physical company versus a virtual company. I could only imagine. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to add to what was said already, because what I've come to learn in the past few years in the industry is that we need to have an idea of the story that your numbers represent. I saw a company in one stage in the industry which were awarded a contract, and then they had to discuss how they were going to run everything and when they're going to start with the CEO of the company. It was the GM. And then he asked them basic questions based on their financials. What are your numbers saying as a company? What are they? And the director knew nothing about that. And unfortunately, they ended up losing the contract because it meant that he was not in charge as much as he wanted to portray that he knew what was happening in the company. The numbers will actually assist you in preparing yourself, either be it for investments, prepare yourself. Actually, the numbers will make it easier for you to know the direction the company is taking. If you need to grow the business, you look at your numbers. If the company is not performing well, the numbers will still speak to you. I think even though we are not all accountants, what's important is that we sit down with the people who prepare our financials for us so that they can guide us, advise us, interpret the numbers to us so that whenever you go out there and represent your company, you are able to speak about something that your accountant highlighted to you. As an entrepreneur, you are definitely going to have to hire an accountant. You are definitely going to hire a marketing team. But all those people need to come back and report to you. They need to give you a simple breakdown of what everything that they've been doing or what they are going to do will look like or looks like. Are they yielding the returns that you expected? Are they as positive, or are you just throwing money away? That was just what I wanted to add.
I love that. I love that, Hendrik. So important. Also, like Susan mentioned, reviewing. Like if you're not reviewing your numbers, if you're only reviewing your numbers when you go to file your tax return, shame on you. Shame on you. Because you could, yeah, you're backward. It's backwards. And that's definitely, or the end of the year or whatever. I know a lot of people that reconcile their books at the first week of the month for the previous month. I know some people that do it, the last week of the quarter. Set a set an appointment for yourself and your bookkeeper that you're going to go over your numbers. Appointment. It's an appointment. It's as important as a client meeting, presenting to anything else. You need to be having appointments with your bookkeeper or CPA or whatever you're doing, or yourself. Put an appointment with yourself to do your bookkeeping. Is so important. Susan, a quick question for you. Does an accountant need to be knowledgeable about your industry, or is accounting kind of similar across the board and they can run your numbers for the most part? Or do you need to be like a very specific like accountant that works with merchandise versus virtual versus in person? Like what should people look for?
Sondra, it all depends on what you're looking for. You get like a lawyer, you've got a lawyer for specific market in the industry. The same with bookkeepers and accountants. Most accountants work over the globe. They work with everything. But there are specific accountants that likes to focus on just doing trusts, just doing companies, just doing personal accounting. So as a small business, you get accountants that actually focus on small businesses as well, that specializes in it. Then you get accountants that actually work with your bigger companies, your corporate companies. They tend to have a lot of experience in the bigger world. But you get for a small business, you get a specific accountant or a bookkeeper that can handle your work specifically in that industry, and that is knowledgeable about your industry. Not a lot of, for instance, where I come from, I'm a small town. So in a small town, the bookkeepers are sort of forced to specialize in the local farming industry and the smaller businesses. Where when you go to the city, then you get your accountants that focuses on corporate accounting and corporate businesses. So it all depends on where you're situated and what you're looking for. And but most accountants have the same knowledge. It's the same certificate that you're studying for, but they do specialize in specific industries as well. If that answers your question.
No, it does, Susan. And the crazy thing is I actually did receptionist work for H&R Block, which is a popular tax company over here. And I worked in a district office, and then I worked in a very small rural office, like me and the tax preparer. Huge difference when a farmer brings you in a basket of receipts to deal with versus somebody walking into a city office. So yeah, I think that is important to acknowledge. But yes, the knowledge is the same. H&R Block knowledge was the same in both offices. It was how you treated the people was different. And then I know last year working with somebody that was e-commerce, that was a whole new field for me. And I know real estate's another new field. So I think it is important that, yes, accountants could possibly work in your industry, but if you can afford to get somebody that's specific to you, your industry and your business, it's better. But like you said, everybody has the knowledge. It just depends on how they look at it. And then the other thing I want to say is international is definitely different than local. And I'm learning that on a huge curve right now that my bookkeeper is like, yeah, you need to go to CPA for those questions. That's not her forte. So she was very upfront and honest, thankfully. And she's just like, I'll keep your numbers, but as far as tax purposes, you need to go get a CPA. And those are two different things. A CPA can be a bookkeeper, and a bookkeeper can be a CPA. But in my case, the bookkeeper is just a bookkeeper. And I need to go get a CPA to answer those tax questions, especially the amazing international people I work with, which I love and adore. But it's definitely above my knowledge base to make sure I'm doing my taxes correctly in the US, not only to affect myself, but also the businesses I'm working with, because I don't want to leave them short-handed too. I want to make sure I'm giving them what I'm supposed to legally, and so on and so forth. So very important that you ask those questions, ask your bookkeeper, hey, do you handle this type of thing? And if you don't, then who do you refer me to or whatever, which is what my bookkeeper did, because not everybody wants to learn every single thing, for sure. Peter, come on in. We have like 5 minutes. Time flies.
Two things very quickly. Something Hendrick mentioned was, understanding your numbers so that you know exactly what's going on. But if something is going wrong in your business, the numbers will paint the picture and very quickly guide you to where is what's going wrong. You can't just guess, oh, the numbers don't add up. Those numbers have to tell a story. And if you're smart enough, you'll be able to read that story and then pinpoint where is the problem so that you can focus on that and fix that problem. But if you're not reading the numbers, you don't even know there's a problem. But if you are reading the numbers, then allow those numbers to guide you to be able to fix the things that are not working. So the second thing is, I think I'm very lucky because for understanding the numbers in a business, you don't necessarily need an accountant. You need a bookkeeper. And a good bookkeeper is worth their weight in gold. However, there are certain things that you do need an accountant for. When certain things need to be signed off, an accountant has to do that. So, and this is where I'm very lucky, because I've built relationships with the bookkeepers and I've built relationship with the accountants, and the bookkeeper and the accountant, they know each other. So it's literally a question of my bookkeeper gets to that point, paints that whole picture. If certain things need to be signed off, it gets handed over directly to the accountant. The accountant knows the bookkeeper, so they know exactly what's going on, and I get a very informed space. So I know exactly what's going on all the time in my space. Can we do this? Can we not do this? It's being informed. So do we necessarily all have to go out and find accountants? No. Should we all go out and find bookkeepers? Yes. Should we also find an accountant when required? Yes. Do most accountants like to do bookkeeping? No, they do not. That's why we have bookkeepers. So like Susan said earlier, certain bookkeepers specialize in certain things and certain accountants specialize in certain things. The trick is to find the right bookkeeper and the right accountant. Don't just go and find an accountant, and don't just go and find a bookkeeper. Find them both. Have the bookkeeper do what the bookkeeper does best. Accountants generally don't like keeping books. They don't want to do that work. They want to sign it off. They want to double check the financials and sign off. And that's what they want to do. So based on my experience of accountants, I should know. My co-founder is a chartered accountant. Do you think she does not want to do the books? She doesn't want to do the books, and she doesn't have to. So in my mind, finding the right bookkeeper, definitely worth their weight in gold, because it'll keep you informed. It'll keep you knowledgeable. It'll keep you exactly where you need to be. That's perfect.
Yeah, for sure, Peter. Yeah, and if they can work together as a team, and I do know some accountants that subcontract bookkeepers, specifically so that they have a rounded team. But definitely, also look at your resources. Like Susan said, there's templates out there that you can use when you first get started, and maybe pay for that one-time consultant so you set things up correctly, so you can run them correctly. I know in the US we have business schools, and a lot of places have to do internships and so on and so forth. So look into all the resources. Don't assume just because you don't have the money to pay for it. Again, it's worth the weight in gold. But starting out, I know it's one of those, that's an extra cost. Figure out a way so you can track your numbers, whether it's you personally or you hire it out, that you understand your numbers. So maybe you watch a YouTube video or 2 or 3 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, 9, 10, or you do those different things, but it's still back in your court. The ball's in your court. You're the one that has to decide how to do that. For sure, for sure. Go ahead, Mr. L, and then we'll start wrapping up.
All right, Peter, thank you for bringing in the difference between a bookkeeper and an accountant, so that we know who do I consult in this case. And I think as you grow as a business, you probably will employ a bookkeeper, because it's somebody that needs to enter your income, your expenses, and all that. But then an accountant comes in later, and I believe that's how it is. A bookkeeper is here to enter whatever transactions, and an accountant will then help you with reading the numbers and telling you where you're going wrong, and where you're going right. I believe that's what it is. And Susan, I'm not sure if you're going to have time to summarize, but I like what you said right at the beginning when you said forecasting, it's more than just numbers. You don't just put numbers there to look pretty. It's got to be a realistic forecasting. You need to know exactly what you want to achieve and how you're going to achieve that. So it's not just putting numbers in so that my business plan looks brilliant. No. So it's more than just numbers. It's actually your life. Thank you for bringing that in, Susan. Thank you so much.
For sure, for sure. So actually, yeah, I was going to give Susan time to wrap up and tell us her last thoughts before we finish. So go ahead, Susan.
Thanks, Sondra. Yeah, so as you basically heard, the whole show is forecasting is one of the most important things that you can do in your business, and it's like coloring in your picture to get the whole picture and making it all pretty and colorful and getting the whole idea. So for a business to get somewhere, you need to plan towards something, and then by forecasting, it comes from the business plan that you're working towards to. So you need your forecasting to know what your picture is going to look like in the end. It's like Mr. Levy always says, you need a map to go somewhere. If you don't have your map, then you're not going to know where you're going. So that's exactly what forecasting is all about. It gives you a picture of your whole business. It's not just like not just the numbers. It's more. It's analyzing. It's setting out financials. It's working towards a dream and working towards an end goal. So yeah, I'm babbling now at the moment. I'm terribly nervous. But yeah, no, forecasting to me is something, it's something that you need to know where you're going. It's your GPS towards a goal. So doing it on a regular basis and reviewing it on a quarterly basis or even on a monthly basis is something that is really important to know that you're moving towards that goal in the right direction. So yeah, I think that's it from me.
All right, Susan, tell us the name of your business.
Yes, my business's name is Nutcracker OBM. It's actually Explore Protech name that I got with one of the Gozen events that we had. So I'm quite proud of the name. I'm a bookkeeper. I'm not an accountant, as you've heard during the show. I'm a bookkeeper, and I like to do small businesses. I work with small business accounting and startup entrepreneurs and small business entrepreneurs. And I believe in helping as far as I go, and doing the books for them and helping them grow is nice to see and nice to grow with them. Yeah, that's me, Susan from the Nutcracker OBM.
I love that. I love that, Susan. Thank you so much for coming today. I know that wasn't um, something you usually do. And again, as always, we want to thank Susan for doing the back end of our show because yeah, I like being the front end and I don't, yeah, I can do the details, but it's nice to hand it off, not have to do the details. Definitely for sure. And so definitely, Susan, thank you. And thank you for turning into a podcast and all that. And then Susan will make sure she puts her own link in LinkedIn link, so she can put her link in the show notes so you can get a hold of her. I can honestly say I have referred clients to her and they have always been impressed and always loved working with Susan. So I can say without a doubt that she is amazing in that aspect as in many other aspects. So again, thank you for coming today. So my name is Sondra. I'm the owner of Get It Done, and I help people get things done by helping them break down their goals into bite-sized pieces, hold accountability, do quarterly reviews, brain dumping, and everything in between. I also do, it's really funny because I've had to step into the VA role a lot lately, which is a part of my coaching services. So everybody's like, I don't see that on your website. I'm like, well, if you look at the very bottom, specialized package, it comes with VA services. So, but yeah, I'm so grateful for everybody. And my next workshop is March 20th, and it's a quarterly review, so we can be looking at this first quarter. Let's not wait until April, May, June, July to be looking at the first 3 months because you're already behind. So let's get that done and get registered. There's 2 times that will fit both time zones. So, Mr. Peter, do you want to take us out?
Yes. Just before I take us out, Susan, a huge shout out to you. I don't get this opportunity often because you're never really in the space. You're normally in the background. When we were discussing your business and your space and what makes your space unique, and one of the things that came up a while back was you didn't know what your unique selling proposition was, and we were working on that. And the conclusion that we came to was the fact that you had never let us down in 5 years. In 5 years, like not once have you like let us down or like something hasn't been delivered. It's always been delivered and it's always on time. So I'm taking the opportunity, Susan, thank you so, so much for what you do in the background. And if that relates anything to your business, you're golden, absolutely golden. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, with the famous words from my co-founder,